But stand up here for a minute, because I want to say this. I get to hear a lot of speakers. I got to travel the world with the best speakers in the world. So I was in my hotel room in a place called Marbella, Spain. So I was watching the sermon and the whole service last week, from the praise and worship to the announcements to your sermon, and I was blown away. Can you give him a clap? Now you got to put this in context that I get to hear the best speakers in the world. That was phenomenal. It was so good, I'm not even joking, that I stared from him and went. And so I'm very proud of him. You know, he went to Oral Roberts University, did very well academically, then went to Claremont, did very well academically. And but what a teaching gift, what a pastoral gift. So I'm very, very proud of you. Give Pastor Stefan a big hat. Awesome. Okay, ushers are coming forward. These gentlemen are former GQ models. I always say former so I don't put pressure on them. And for you that are here for the very first time, you're going to love this church. It is a gathering of people that we just want to grow in God. And as Pastor Stefan said, we have a really large online following. You know, I traveled the world for so many years, and people are watching us. And we're growing the community locally. We don't know anything about Placentia. This was a new area for me. I didn't want to go to an area where a lot of my friends were already. And I wanted to just build in an area where we didn't know many people. And, you know, the Lord is building every single month, new people and us growing just together as a congregation. How many of you truly, you don't have to clap, but how many of you really enjoy the church and what God is doing, okay? If you could please put up the scripture there. We're talking about spiritually built. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea and Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and so others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." So we'll just leave it at that. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take some ideas from Pastor Stefan's notes, and I'm going to use those and also add some things that I've been studying on the same subject. Now, when we're talking about spiritually built, to build something is a very interesting thing. It means to construct. It means to assemble. It means to create a structure. It means to bring forth. So that means that one of the things that Jesus does is that Jesus is a builder. Say that, say, Jesus is a builder. Now, you're right in my power zone right now, because as you guys know, some of you, I do a lot of success seminars. And I do a lot of studies on the characteristics or attributes of people who do well in life. So as I was studying this, I was looking at it through this idea of success and the attributes of Christ. So I began to study him while I was in Spain. And one of the things that I found is this, is that number one of his attributes in the Bible is that he is the author and the perfecter of your faith. And that's found in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 22, if you're taking notes, okay? He is the author and the finisher of our faith. Somebody say that. Say, he is the author and the finisher of my faith. Now, you got to know this, because when Jesus was dealing with Peter, as Pastor Stefan was teaching, all his attributes went with him as a coach. You have different coaching styles. You have people like Pat Riley. Does anybody remember Pat Riley when he was coaching the Lakers? He had a certain coaching style. Then you had Phil Jackson. Remember, he had a certain coaching style. You have John Wooden for UCLA, one of the greatest of all time. He had a coaching style. So you as parents, you have a coaching style. Mine was through a mother who coached through fear and intimidation. And if you did something she didn't like, she'd take off in Spanish the what? The chancla, the shoe. And then she'd say, you like your teeth? We're like, yes. Are you with me? So Jesus has a coaching style. Say that. Say, Jesus has a coaching style. Say, Jesus has a building style. Say, I am being what? Built. Okay. So what got me that was so powerful, Pastor Stefan, is that you're teaching the building process of Jesus, and you were showing one of the people he was trying to build, and how as badly as Peter wanted to become, his weaknesses wanted to resist. That's so powerful. The spiritual side of you wants to become, the weaknesses in you are going to try to resist. If I come at you in discipline, the weaknesses in you are going to want to resist me. The spiritual side of you is going to say, I've been needing that. If God comes at you and tells you to sacrifice, the weakness in you is saying, nah, I'm good. The spirit in you is saying, I think he's right. And so you're going to see the characteristics and the attributes of Christ. Number one, he's the author and the perfecter of your faith. Now, here's what you got to understand. Is that Jesus had a prophecy that was given, Isaiah 61, that said he would bind the brokenhearted. He would set the captives free. He would bring gladness instead of despair. So in this teaching that he was giving Peter, he had all that in him. He had a built-in mission statement. He's not like some parents who don't know what to do with their children. Jesus had a built-in mission statement for Peter. But what he saw in Peter, because it's just a Jesus style, he saw the potential. I got to go there for a second. Because what you have is a word called potential. Say that. Say, I have potential. Now, I got to be honest with you. Some of you may choose not to reach your potential. No, for real. And you may say, I read the book The Secret and I saw it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I follow so-and-so online and I feel like he told me I'm going to do it. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have the potential. So when Jesus encountered Peter, he saw potential. Oh, so good. Your kids have, but they have to be built. They have to be constructed. They have to be assembled. They have to be created and structured. They have to be brought forth. So as a parent, when your kids are 5, you are bringing them forth. When they're 10, you're bringing them forth. When they're 15, they usually tell you, quit trying to bring me forth. Mom, I'm texting my friend, okay? I'm watching a Kylie Jenner tutorial right now. Is your mother weird? Yes. Is your mother weird? Yes. Watch the pushback, 15 usually, 16. I'm going to tell you, on all the years on the road, it is rare that somebody at that age does not give the pushback. When I meet some of these kids who are 13, 14, 15, 16, and they're not in that little bit of a pushback rebellion, it's rare air. Now, same thing in the church. God tries to construct you, erect you, assemble you, create you, structure you, mold you, bring it out. And there's a side of some of you that says, no. I'm going to this other church where they have 17,000 people and they got 5 Starbucks. Awesome. I'm going over here where they let me dance in the Spirit. Play my tambourine. Pastor Tim won't let me. No, because I don't want you to be a Fruit Loop your whole life and work at Apple playing a tambourine. Say, build me, God. Construct me, erect me, assemble me, create me, structure me. Bring forth my destiny. Bring forth my destiny. Bring forth my destiny. Somebody clap your hands and shout, bring forth my destiny. Isn't it so good? So number one, he's the author and the perfecter of your faith, Hebrews 12:22. But he's also the bread of life. Now watch this. John 6:35. Whoever comes to me, Jesus says, this is where I live at this stage of my life. Someone said to me, this guy ran up to me yesterday in the Amsterdam airport. He goes, Tim Storey. I go, hey, how you doing? He goes, oh my God, I saw you in London, England at a place, it was an awesome conference. He named all the people that were there. I go, oh, good to see you. He goes, oh my God, number one. He goes, you look the same. You got the same energy. He said, I'm trying to tell you that meeting was so awesome. He goes, you just have so much peace about you. I said, yeah, I do. Well, it's a choice. Because I've decided to abide in the vine. And the Bible says, whoever comes to me will never be hungry and will never thirst again. See, at this stage of my life, I'm not into what a lot of my contemporaries are into. If Ferraris and Lamborghinis are their thing, and some of them are watching me, you know I love you, and I'll ride in it. I'll even borrow it. But I'm not obsessed. Just wave at me if this makes sense. Okay? Because there's a side and an attribute of Christ where he is the bread of life. And while he is constructing me, while he's building me, while he's molding me, while he's constructing Peter, while he's building Peter, he's not doing it and saying, Peter, out of your hunger and out of your thirsting, come on, try to keep up. He says, no, I am feeding you, sustaining you, strengthening you while I'm putting a demand on you. I would not put the demand on you unless I thought you were strong enough. Somebody clap your hands and shout. Is this powerful? See, you would be a bad parent if your kids were little and you didn't feed them for a couple days. So Jesus does not make requirements of y'all without feeding you while he's making the requirement. You're like, you don't know what I've been through. He's like, I'm feeding you. Quit being hangry. Hungry, angry together creates hangry. I just feel pressure. I just feel pressure. I just feel when Pastor Stephan was talking about the giving. Why do they talk about this in church? Because you're being fed by the bread of life, filled by the bread of life. You're drinking from the brook, from the bread of life. Come on, somebody. You are being watered by, come on, the streams and the rivers of God. He is drawing on the deposit that he knows is inside of you. Somebody clap your hands. So you say, well, what is God trying to do? He's drawing on his investment. I feel like he's trying to get me to do so much, and I'm going through a difficult time. He knows, Carlitos. But he knows your potential because he's the master builder. So that's what you did do, was so masterful in the teaching, because you break down this amazing story, and I'll go through some of the things that he said that was just amazing stuff. Because you got in this whole thing that he is in this complicated situation because he's in between this and he's in between that. He was a fisherman. His brother Andrew was a fisherman. The place that they lived was full of fishermen. The name even meant the area of fishermen. He was complicated, is the word you used. Peter was complicated. That means complex. He was intricate. He was tricky. See, some of you, the reason you have a hard time growing is you're tricky. You're tricky. Oh yeah, you're tricky. The thing about being Tim Storey is kind of wild, because people show me their best sides. Oh my God, I love Jesus. And then someone will tell me, they're a freak. No. Like, I'll say like, yeah, that's awesome. They're doing great. And they go, no, they're a freak, for real. I'm like, they used to be? No, currently. Be careful, it's for real. No, male and female. And if you don't know what I mean by that, ask your neighbor. It's good teaching, huh? So Peter was complicated, AKA 2019, he was tricky. Some of your kids, they meet people at school and they start getting tricky on you. Not telling you the truth, living in the shadows. Come on, somebody. So Jesus had to deal with it. He was complicated. And then you talked about this whole thing that he lived his whole life fishing. It was what he knew. Some of you, what you know is tricky. You know trickiness. And you prayed for the right woman, sir. And you brought tricky into the right relationship with the right woman. Because the builder was trying to build you, and he was trying to feed you, and he was giving you water so you would never thirst, but yet you stayed thirsty because you're used to being tricky. It's powerful. Well, how do you know it? Because I've been through it. It was cool being the boy wonder. And then it was uncool to be the boy I wonder. Like weaknesses started coming out of me that I didn't even see coming, that were probably from my father or from my mother, and generational stuff that I didn't even know, that when the heat kept coming and 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 coming, some weaknesses started coming out of me that kind of shocked me. Is there anybody here besides me that at least one weakness came out of you that kind of shocked you over the years? You should lift your hands. Are you a lion in Jesus' home? See, a woman can see that, like, oh my God, he was so amazing after the third date. Something changed. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to block him. I'm blocking him on all social. This is good. It came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. God saw it. The Holy Spirit told you. You ran right past the barriers. Notice that most stuff that we fail out, we ran past the barriers. Waze was telling us, go the other way. Waze was talking, come on somebody, in a British voice. Clap your hands and shout. And you ran right over the cones, right over the barriers, and right into the ditch. Clap your hands and shout like you're learning something. God was trying to talk to you. Man, this is good. Stefan, you're the one that fired me up. Because you said something about him. You said he's earnest. I'd never heard anybody say that. I preach with the best in the world. I preach with Joyce Myers probably no less than 100 times. I preach with Jensen Franklin probably no less than 200 times. I've spoken in the Hillsong conferences all over the world. I knew Brian Houston when he had 300 people for Hillsong, and he had a long hair. 1987 was the first time I speak for. I've traveled the world with TDJ. Let me tell you something. I never heard one of us use the word earnest. He was earnest. He was earnest. So I had to break this thing down while I was in Spain. I was breaking this down. I'm like, this kid, where's he getting all this stuff? The word earnest is interesting. It means that Peter was sincere, okay? He was serious in his mind about this thing. So that shows me that you can be earnest and still mess up. See, everybody is about intentions. Just watch Instagram. Oh my gosh, hi, I'm having my blog right now. And what I'm feeling is that you need to be intentional. It's a good start. Good going. It's a great start. But you can be intentional and be earnest and still fail. Oh, this is so good. There's an old country saying, the road is paved with good intentions. What time are you going to be there? I'm going to be there at 8. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. 9:27. But they intended to be there at 8. Right? Come on. Is this good teaching so far? So what's stopping us? What's stopping us is this idea that we're trying to be spiritually built by a God who knows what he's doing. He's trying to construct you. He's trying to assemble you. He's trying to, come on somebody, he's trying to structure you. He's trying to bring the best of you out. Clap your hands and shout. Just say, bring it out, God. Come on, just say it. Say, come on, say it. Say, bring it out, God. Say it, bring it out. See, we live in a world that loves what the Bible said would happen. They love to have their ears tickled. Tickle my ears. Just tell me how great I am. Is that going to construct you? Tim, you remember John Wooden? Al, you remember John Wooden? His whole thing was structure. Discipline, all the way down to how you tied your Converse, all the way how they put on their socks, all the way to how they ran the lines. Everything was structure and discipline. No wonder he won championship after championship after championship after championship. We are going to reverse the curse in our families. We are going to let Jesus build us at the Congregation Church. Somebody give the Lord a clap and a shout. Sunday after Sunday, please give us the opportunity to serve you and build you and help bring out the potential that's inside of you. So powerful, huh? I have this in my notes. Jesus is not trying to get you to do big things on an empty stomach. That's so powerful. Somebody write that quote down. That's one of my best. Write it down. So one of these other preachers don't steal it. Like they do all my other stuff. Jesus doesn't call you to do big things on an empty stomach. I just feel so broken. And then he's calling me. Trust me, he's not. Come on, all of us. Who has kids? Lift your hands. You know when your kid's tripping. Only just try to get them to go from here to here. You just go from here to here. That'd be good right now. Yeah, just go from here to here. I don't want to go from here to here to here. I know you don't even have it in you right now, okay? Okay, little Carl III, just go from here to there. This is so good. People that are tripping and they tell me things that are not true, they'll say like, I just feel he's calling me and I feel pressure and I'm looking at him like, no, he's not. He's got 8 billion people on the planet. He can get somebody that's not tripping as hard as you. Right now, he's just trying to get you to get fed. Come on, somebody. To drink from the spring of life. He's trying to build you up, help you up, shake you up, stir you up, grow you up, so something huge will manifest out of you. Somebody clap your hands and shout. Come on, people. So good. Say, he is the author and the perfecter of my faith. He is the bread of life. Say, he is the chief cornerstone. Now, you got right into my alley, Pastor Stefan. That's why I was sitting there watching this in this beautiful place, this Marbella, overlooking the ocean. And I was on my phone. I was like this. I'm like, what the... Dude, how's he coming up with this? Because you're right, you were right in the alley. Because listen to this. When it says he's a chief cornerstone, Psalms 118:22, for those that are taking notes, says he is the stone that the builders rejected. How many of you like me, you ever felt rejected? Lift your hands higher, please. This is a honesty poll. How many of you ever felt like what you were doing is not good enough? Wow. I interviewed superstars, and I asked them that when we saw you as a superstar, did you feel like a superstar? So one was Robert Downey Jr., who became Iron Man, who's made about $200 million so far this year, just off what he's done in movies. And I asked Robert, I said, Robert, while you were Robert and coming up, did you ever feel like you sucked? He goes, definitely. I asked Eric Dickerson, the famous football player. I said, Eric, while you were breaking all the records, did you ever feel like you sucked? He goes, man, no one's ever asked me that before. He says, totally. And I go star after star after star. You don't need all that today. It's just church. And so I asked all these different people. And in the middle of their masterful time, they still felt less than. I asked your friend, Darryl Strawberry, who's my buddy since in the 80s. I asked Darryl Strawberry, I said, before the drugs, before the problems, when you were Darryl Strawberry and you were the straw that stirred the New York Mets, did you feel like you sucked ever? He said, all the time. So this is awesome. Because one reason Peter kept messing up is that he felt that he was less than. He's not a fool, this Peter. Read 1st and 2nd Peter later. He's not a fool, this Peter. He knew after the fact, cutting the ear off. Good point. He knew after the fact, trying to walk on the water. See, some of us, we don't realize it until after the fact. That's how my life was. How would you like being on top, 2,000 invitations a year, kicking everybody's butt in every level, and then personally feeling like you suck? Yeah, not good. Not good. That's why those little jealous preachers, they wear me out. Because they didn't have the guts to tell me when I was young, you rocked him, Storey. What you just did in there, Their jealousy in them was like, I'm scared of you. That's why when I see TD Jakes and Jakes will blow up a spot, I will come up to him and go, you're the best preacher in the last 100 years. And he'll like, brother, you know, ain't nobody can do what you done either. See, we give each other props. Me and Jensen Franklin just had a love feast. We were doing a conference. We had like a love feast. It was like two labradoodles just kissing each other. Yeah. Because we're not jealous men. He's great at what he does. I'm not trying to be him. I'm rocking my thing. Clap your hands. You got the last 2 minutes. Clap your hands and shout like we're learning. I see the Shakarians back there. I don't know what you guys are doing back there. Didn't you get your seats on? They were online. Didn't you not get those? Ticketron? One of the greatest movements in the history of the body of Christ, the full gospel businessmen that has changed millions and millions of people. There they are, right there. Give them a clap. Back there, the Shakarian family. But the grandfather comes from the dairy business. Vanjie's husband, Richard, who's now in heaven, takes over and takes the full gospel businessman to a whole other dimension, but always realized that it was Christ in him, the hope of glory. That's one thing your husband taught me. He realized it was Christ in him. It was not him in Christ. Oh, some of these guys that I hang out with, they crack me up. They think God needs them. I'm a little spiritual, yeah. F everybody, get on your grind. F everybody, get on your grind. Yeah. Come on. How you getting on this influence, Tim Storey? Just keep watching. Just keep watching. See, when you realize that you need him and you decrease on purpose, he will increase on purpose. No, because he understands rejection, because he's the stone that the builders rejected. And he became the chief cornerstone. Psalms 118:22. Listen, he knows and understands, look at me, rejection. That's why the Apostle Paul says, not many noble are called, not many fancy people are called, but God calls the foolish things in the earth. To confound the wise. I was at this fancy get-together in Spain, and this real cocky guy came up to me, and he goes, I just want you to know, I Googled you, and I'm really not into you. I know everybody's loving you. They think you're so great. I'm not into you. I'm not into all the spirituality, Jesus stuff. I just want you to know that I'm not into you. And I looked at him, and I said, so? I just stared at him. You little ignorant person. You think I'm gonna, is this American Idol? I don't need your vote. I'm done speaking. Clap your hands if you learn.
Today's message was outstanding, and I'm sure it has touched you in some way. I am here, and I would love to pray with you. If God has touched you, you can receive Christ in your life today. And I'd love to pray with you. Just repeat after me. Say, Jesus, come into my life, anew and afresh. Restore my life. Forgive me from all unrighteousness. He is so faithful to everyone who prays. The Bible promises that those that cry out to him are those that pray. It is 100% that he will turn no one away. If you have said that prayer today, we would like for you to press the link and fill out the I Want to Follow Jesus card. So many people has asked me as a pastor, how do I get involved? Well, you can get involved with the online campus by partnering with us. So you can give your tithe and offering online by pressing the link below, and you'll find the donation card. So God bless you. We will keep you in prayer. Keep us in prayer. God is a mighty God.